Welcome back to the Citystead. I'm Josh, and today we're going to do some more planting. Of course we got to do more planting because it's about that time of year. We got to get a lot of stuff in and just try to be as prepared as we can for a big, huge garden year that we're going to do this year. Well, E, what are we planting today?
Beans!
Alright, E, what do we need to get started?
Well, first we need seeds.
Whoa! Nice, nicely done. All right, what else we got, little magician?
Well, we need a seed tray.
My goodness, you're blowing my mind. Whew, all right, well, we got a seed tray, we got seeds. What next?
Dirt.
Oh my goodness. Woo, all right, Harriet Potter, do you got anything else up your sleeve? Are you gonna magically plant all these beans, or are we gonna actually do that by hand?
By hand.
All right, so normally when we grow beans, we use our little bean tent that we call it. We've had that since she was like little itty bitty. Actually, maybe I can throw up a picture right boom here. This is actually a picture of her in the bean tent, like the very first year we ever had it. It was all brand new done. It looked really, really nice. Now it looks, you know, a little bit more worn. But we did use that, and we've always grown our beans on that year after year after year. We've done a couple other little spots, but normally the majority of our bean production happens at that bean tent, which is nice. The kids love it. It's a cool little area to hang out, right? You guys like hanging out in there, going in there? Yeah. So, and we also usually only grow a couple varieties of beans. We've always been stuck with our Kentucky Wonders. It's a good bean. It does good for us. It produces well. And then the other one we grow is, which one is that?
Scarlet Runner beans.
Scarlet Runner beans. So we started growing that like what, 2-3 years ago now? I think it was 3 years ago actually. And we actually got to the point where we're actually harvesting a lot of our own runner bean seeds, and we use them. If you've been part of the seed swap at all, there's a good chance you have some of our runner bean seeds, because we always put a pack in the envelope with it. We've got quite a few of them. We're actually getting kind of low, so we got to really stock up this year. But those are our go-to beans. I really wanted to do something different this year. I kind of wanted to expand out. Now we're going to grow runner beans because it's her favorite. She likes the color, the pink beans, all that good stuff. And they're just really good beans. They produce good for us. They're cool weather beans, so they kind of like produce more at the end and beginning of the season. So we want to do something to kind of fill that gap in the middle. We're going to try different beans, stuff we've never done. Just try and change it up a little bit with our bean selection. So what do we got right here, E, that we're going to try this year?
Chinese red noodle beans.
The red noodle bean. Those things are super long. They look really cool, and they're red. Can't go wrong with that. What else we got?
Winged beans.
The winged bean. We actually heard about this from Papa Pepper. Papa Pepper's a really good friend of the channel, and he just made them sound so interesting that I had to pick some up when I seen them. And then the last thing we got is this one. What is that?
Pole beans.
But what's the name of it?
Potawatomi lima?
Yeah, you tell me what the name is. Potawatomi? 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 This is the first year we're ever trying this. I actually picked these up because they are native to our state, our area, and passed down from generations to generations and generations. It's a Native American bean. So I really wanted to try it, put it in our yard, grow it this year, and see what we can do with it. Now, let's whirl you outside, and we're going to show you where we're going to put some of these beans. What, are you going to do some magic? Get us outside? So there is the bean tent. That's where we grow most of the beans. You can see it's got a couple strings that are broken on it. Needs a little bit of repair. And we will probably do mostly our runner beans right here, and then we'll intermix some regular, probably those Kentucky Wonders, something like that, or maybe the winged beans, something like that. We'll throw in there with it, kind of mix them up a little bit. But we're going to grow a bunch of beans right here. This is the main producer of all the beans. And we're thinking this year of doing a bush bean, kind of like on the outside rows, to try to maximize some of the beans that we actually get out of here. So we'll have a runner bean, or the pole beans, and we'll have some bush beans down low. So we also put some little teepees over top of where we usually grow a couple big jalapeno plants. What I'm thinking is having some beans here will help feed some nitrogen back down into that soil, possibly help out our jalapenos. and also just provide a little bit of shade during those super hot days. I know peppers like hot heat, but we don't want them to get scorched or anything, so it's kind of like trying to work on a system. Nitrogen feeding back into the soil, plants that need nitrogen, something like that. So we're going to grow them on these little teepees here. We're going to see how that works this year. Just, you know, an experiment. Alright, so last year we did a 4x4 bed and we just overloaded this with plants, planted more than we possibly could. The soil could really handle, right? So we put tomatoes and okra and all sorts of squash, beans, everything in this bed basically. It was a full-on garden in a 4x4 bed. We are going to do that again this year, and in order to make a system like that work, we definitely need something like nitrogen from the beans. So we will plant some beans on this trellis, and they'll be kind of intermixed with other stuff. So we might have spaghetti squash with a bean next to it, and then something else. So we just kind of intermixed a bunch of stuff into this bed, and that's one way to try to help, you know, enrich the soil as you're growing throughout the season, feeding nitrogen back into the soil that we're going to have a lot of plants are going to be sucking a lot of that nitrogen out of there. So this is kind of a cool experiment. If you also want to stay tuned for when we actually do all this, I really recommend that. We're going to make the most out of this tiny space. We're going to do a sort of like a food forest type of style where we actually think about layers as we plant stuff. So we also have this little makeshift fence we're building right here, and this is another thing that offers a lot of opportunity to grow climbing type stuff. Beans could possibly be a good thing to put here. Something like those runner beans might actually do very well in this position, being that it's really close to the garage, so it doesn't really get a lot of sun in the afternoon. So, you know, it's up to about noon, 1 o'clock, and that's it for sun. Then it gets a lot of shade. Runner beans like a little bit cooler weather. Might be a really good opportunity to try to grow some right on this pallet wall that we're building, just to see how they do. Yeah, chive? Chee-chee, chiving it up. There's a few of the places we're going to try to plant some of these beans, some new beans that we haven't grown, and then of course our old standby, the Scarlet Runner bean. If you guys have never seen the video we did about the Scarlet Runner beans, I will put a link right there for you. Just a lot of good information about this particular bean, and why I really enjoy growing it, why I think it's a super important bean, especially if you're thinking permaculture type lifestyle, or just, you know, really growing food. I think that's one of the standards in the beans. I would never have another garden without it now. All right, now we got to do the actual planting. You gonna make up some tags for us? We'll fill it with soil with your little magic fingers, and now all we got to do is plant. Let's get busy. Are you gonna get busy or what? Stuff don't write itself. I'm the master gardener, you're the labor gardener.
No, I'm not.
In this greenhouse, I am the law.
No, you're not. I have the magic powers.
Oh. Gotta poke our holes, gotta poke our holes. What a beans, gotta wait until you poke holes.
You know, I could just magic them.
I just took a DNA test, turns out I'm 100% that gardener.
It would have been a lot easier if you would have just let me magic them.
Alright, which one are you gonna plant? You gonna plant runner beans?
Of course.
Pick your bean! Uh-oh, got a trick lid. Trick lid. You'll never figure it out.
Push down and turn. I figured it out.
Why are you coming all the way across?
Because
Why are you're invading my space?
I want to go everything.
This is right in front of me. You should be planted on that side.
I hope you don't mind if some Scarlet Runner beans grow right down there.
I do, you gotta pick them up.
Oh.
I can't believe you just invaded my spot.
I
was gonna use those ones. Those were mine.
I don't care. There. This is on my side.
I don't want to do the ones on your side. I'm doing these ones. They have to go in those last two. I already marked it. You can't trade me. You can't take my spot. Don't do it. I would have to reach all the way across to you. Check out these Potawatomi beans. So cool looking.
I want to plant those.
Ah, too bad. It's my bean. It's my bean. This one's mine to plant. This one's my bean. It's mine to plant. Don't you do it. So one of the questions we got a bunch in the past few videos of planted seeds and everything is, where do we actually get these little markers that we use? These particular markers we actually bought at Home Depot. I think you can get them at Walmart also. They're like Vigoro or something like that. I can't remember the name of them, but they're actually pretty cheap. I want to say it's 25 or 50 of them for like $3. Really nice markers. I like them. We use a permanent marker on them. The only thing is they do get really worn out over the entire summer. They get like it's hard to read them after a while. So I was actually thinking about clear coating them before we actually stick them outside in the ground before they get weathered. So a little bit of clear coat over top of it and it won't wash away. The other thing we bought recently was these markers right here. We got 100 of them. And these are also a bamboo marker. We got these from Amazon and they're a little bit bigger on the space to read the label, which I kind of like a little bit better, and they came with a little marker. It was pretty nice. So we just recently started using these and I'm actually super impressed with them and I like them. I think we're actually gonna try to get more of these. So I'll drop a link down for these down below if you're interested in getting a whole bunch of markers. It's really nice when you can get them sent right to your door also and you don't have to go to the store to search for them. And these weren't that much more. I think more cost effective would be these going to Home Depot or Walmart and buying these. But I think long lasting, these might be a little bit better. They're a little thicker. You can see the difference in them. How thick they are. Actually, I guess it would help if I showed you one. So you can actually kind of see the difference in which one's thicker. And I think that's going to matter in the life of them. So I think these will last longer overall. But these ones are just fine, and we've used these for many years, and we just like using them. They're bamboo, they're super recyclable, and she's sleeping. Alright, thanks for hanging out with us today, guys. Planting some beans. I think beans are a very important food source, especially when it comes down to like proteins. We can't replace maybe protein from meat necessarily with beans without eating pounds of them, but they do have a lot of protein as a plant and as a food source. They're super easy to store. You can pickle them, you can, freezer, put them in the freezer, you can have dried beans. So there's a lot of really good uses for beans. That's why I'm trying to up our games on beans a little bit. I was just going to try a few new varieties this year, but I think with all going on, we might actually try a couple other ones just to up it a little bit more than what I originally planned and see how much further we can go. Alright guys, remember, be bold and grow bold, and of course we'll see you in the very next video.
I gotta go practice more magic now.
What do they call beans?
What?
What do they call beans? The magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. Toot toot.